What's up everybody? Brian here in the Gecko Lab. Thank you for joining me today. This is your weekly hatchling report. Well, it is good to see you all. Thank you for being here. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I know I did, and if it's okay with you, I'd like to tell you about it real quick before I get to showing you the beautiful recent hatchlings I picked out to share today. So this weekend I went hiking. I went up to Rocky Mountain National Park, which is about 2 hours from my house, and me and my dad hiked to Sky Pond. This is a beautiful hike, high up in elevation, ends at about 11,000 feet. You go past 3 beautiful high alpine lakes. It's an incredible hike. Well, I got it in my head that I wanted to hike up and be over the lock, which is the first lake there, at sunrise. So like I said, this is actually like 2 hours from my house. So me and my dad got up and we left my house at 2 a.m. to drive up. We started hiking at about 4:15 and our timing was perfect because we did hike through the dark, which was actually a lot of fun. I love it. It's just an incredible experience to be out there in Rocky Mountain National Park in the deep wilderness with the sky and the stars above you, pitch black, nothing but a headlamp, hiking up this mountain for 2.5 hours, and we made it to the lock right at sunrise. It was beautiful. So we picked a nice rock that kind of jutted out into the lake and we just relaxed there and watched the sunrise up over the valley, up over the lake. It was beautiful. And then we got to continue our hike up to Sky Pond in the dawn light, which is a fascinating hike because after the lock, the next 2 lakes are kind of up on this cliff and you actually have to scale a waterfall to get to them. Now luckily it's September, so there's not much runoff, so it was a lot easier than it is like in the spring when it's a much more heavy flowing waterfall. But this one, it's about 3 stories tall. It's like a 40-foot waterfall. It's pretty tall. You gotta kind of scramble up it, and then once you get up to the top, there's 2 other lakes up there, Glass Lake and Sky Pond, both absolutely beautiful. We had a fantastic time. It was a running joke with my dad the whole time that I didn't bring any of my nice camera gear. You guys know how much I love photography, but I don't know, for some reason I was like, nah, I'm not gonna focus. Really, it was a mental thing. I'm not gonna focus on the photography. I wanna focus on the experience with my dad and being there, and also not lugging an extra 20 pounds of camera gear is always a plus. So I didn't bring any of it, and then it was a running joke the whole time of, you're gonna regret not bringing your camera. Oh, we got to the sunrise. Oh, do you regret not bringing the camera? Then we get up to Sky Pond. Man, you really regret not bringing the camera. And I did sort of regret not bringing the nice camera gear. But like I said, I was focused on the experience and spending time with my dad, and it was a beautiful weekend. On our way back down, we actually took another offshoot trail and went up to another lake. So we saw 4 alpine lakes, did 14 miles of hiking. It was beautiful, and we were still down and off the mountain by like 1 o'clock. It was a great day. So that was my weekend. I hope you guys had a great time as well. If you did anything fun, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you did for this weekend. I really appreciate it. But now I want to show you some geckos. Let's get into some recent hatchlings. I went and pulled 7 geckos, I think. I pulled 7 geckos to show you on this episode of the Weekly Hatchling Report. Let's dive right into it with this gorgeous little super Dalmatian. Now this guy is about 3 weeks old now, so as you can see, the number of spots and the size of his spots he has at just 3 weeks old, oh, you know I'm excited to see this one grow up. I pulled him especially because this is a Splat offspring, and a lot of you guys remember Splat from a video I did about my Super Dal groups. It was like 2 years ago now. He's got a bunch of offspring that are finally coming out and growing up. I cannot wait to see a bunch of Splat offspring grow up. I am going to keep a bunch for myself, obviously, and of course I will have some for sale. Probably starting this spring is when I'll have a bunch of Splat offspring for sale, but they are turning out gorgeous and I couldn't resist pulling this one to show it to you. Next up, I've got a beautiful axanthic to show off. Now check this guy out. I pulled him especially because, well, look at him. He is so dark. No pattern, no white, no pinning, no nothing. Just a blank slate, solid coal dark gecko. This is my favorite right here. I say that about all the axanthics, so I shouldn't lie to you. This isn't my favorite. The pinstripes are my favorite. The lily whites are my favorite. These are my favorite. The really light white ones are my favorite. I love them all. But for the purposes of this video, this one is my favorite axanthic. Just look at this thing. It looks fake. It looks like it looks like it's photoshopped. It really does, but it's not. That's what these guys look like. They're incredible. I know there's so many other people's favorites out there. So I saw that one and I had to pull it out and show it to you guys. I love the way it's growing up. After that, I've got two geckos that are clutch mates. They're both from one of my, I call it the red white spot groups. So they're groups that are red base colored geckos with the white spot drippy dorsal trait. So this first one, this guy is only about 2 weeks old, and you can see how vibrant his red color is already. That is what I love about this one. He is so bright, saturated red at this age. That is a sign of an incredibly bright neon red that is going to grow up. And also full pinning, great structure, white tipped crest, awesome lateral lines. This is the kind of gecko that is so much fun to watch grow up and develop, because you know the color is going to be there, you know the pinning is going to be there, you know the pattern is just going to get better and better. And if that white spot trait makes an appearance and he gets the drippy dorsal, this is one of those like diamond in the rough type geckos. So that one I had my eye on, and I wanted to show you its clutch mate next as well, because this one got the phantom gene, as you can see here. Still has that full pinning, still has the big head, still has the white tip, still has white tip laterals, but all of that pattern is wiped away. This one will be a solid, bright, neon red phantom pinstripe. I love these geckos. They are so striking when they hit about 2 years old and they're fully in their color, bright red. Absolutely incredible. And I love the contrast between the clutch mates. So I picked those two out to show to you. Next up, gecko number 5 is actually two geckos, 5 and 6, another set of clutch mates. These ones come from my empty back pinstripe line. Check these out. Now you can see the one on the left here. I love, it's got a lot of cream. It's got a fairly empty dorsal, but you can see those kind of flecks of cream going down the dorsal. That tells me all of that expands as it grows, and it's actually going to fill in. This one will have a pretty solid dorsal as it grows up, but you can see on both sides those solid, perfect lateral lines. I love that. And then the one on the right, complete opposite. The dorsal, how empty and clean and crisp that is not going to fill in. That will be an empty dorsal adult. It will look like that as it grows up. The downside is no lateral lines on this one. So this clutch came out and I looked at him and went, man, can I just like squish you guys into one gecko and get the full empty dorsal with the perfect lateral lines? Because that would be awesome. You can't get everything on every gecko though, and I was still super psyched to see this clutch hatch out. Absolutely gorgeous. More of them that I can't wait to watch grow up, because I love watching these geckos grow up. Okay, let's move on to my last gecko for the day. This is from my Extreme Harlequin Tricolor projects. Look at this gecko, 3 weeks old. At 3 weeks old, to have this kind of pattern and this giant structure on this gecko, oh my God, can you imagine when this grows up? As most of you know, the pattern will just expand and fill in as it grows. I really believe this gecko is going to be 98+% pattern coverage with huge white walls. Super, super high-end tricolor Extreme Harlequin here. Of course, the head structure is fantastic. The color is great. I really think the orange color is going to blossom and brighten up into a dark black base color, bright neon orange with white overlays. This is definitely one of my most promising Extreme Harlequin hatchlings in a long time. I can't wait to watch this one grow up. Alright guys, that's it for me today. Those are the hatchlings I pulled to show to you. Thank you so much as always for joining me, and as always, leave me a comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. What'd you do this weekend? Tell me what you did. Tell me your plans. What do you do for fun? And of course, which one of these geckos is your favorite? I want to know. Leave me a comment. That's gonna do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I am Brian with Altitude Exotics, altitudex.com. That's /AE Geckos on Facebook and Instagram. Give me a follow. Don't forget to check the website. Brand new geckos for sale this Friday night. There will be an update this week. You'll get an update website preview video on Wednesday. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Be safe, be kind to each other. I will see you soon. Have a great one.